The engines screamed to life, but this was no ordinary flight. In the tense silence of the Cold War, one East German pilot sat inside a MiG-29, fully armed, fully trained, and fully ready to betray everything he had ever known. This wasn't just a mission. This was a point of no return. One wrong move, and he would be shot down by his own side, or mistaken for an enemy by the West. Today, on Wings of War, we bring you the heart-stopping story of a MiG-29 defection mission that shook the foundations of the Iron Curtain. Welcome to Wings of War, where history meets the sky, and every mission tells a story of courage, conflict, and survival. It was the late 1980s. The Cold War was still alive, but cracks had begun to show. East Germany, known officially as the German Democratic Republic, was one of the Soviet Union's most tightly controlled allies. Its air force, the Luftstreitkraft der NVA, operated some of the most advanced Soviet aircraft, including the deadly MiG-29 Fulcrum. This jet wasn't just fast, it was a symbol of power, designed to rival NATO's best fighters like the F-15 and F-16. For East German pilots, flying the MiG-29 was an honor, but also a burden. Loyalty was everything, surveillance was constant, every pilot was watched, evaluated, and trusted only as far as the state allowed. Defection, that wasn't just betrayal, it was a death sentence. But one pilot had reached his limit. For months, maybe years, he had lived under pressure. Restrictions on movement, fear of saying the wrong thing. The knowledge that his life was controlled by a system that demanded obedience, not freedom. He had seen glimpses of the West, heard stories, maybe even met people who had escaped. And slowly, a dangerous idea took hold in his mind. Escape. The opportunity came during what appeared to be a routine training mission. The briefing room was calm. Maps were reviewed, flight paths were assigned, nothing unusual. The pilot kept his composure, hiding his true intentions behind discipline and routine. No one suspected that this mission would turn into an international incident within minutes. The MiG-29 stood ready on the runway, sleek, powerful, armed. As the pilot climbed into the cockpit, he knew this was it. There would be no second chance. Once airborne, his fate would be sealed. The engines ignited with a thunderous roar. The jet accelerated down the runway and lifted into the sky, climbing rapidly into controlled airspace. Ground control monitored every movement. Everything was normal: altitude, speed, heading. The pilot followed the plan perfectly. Calm voice, steady hands. But inside, everything was about to change. At a pre-calculated point in the flight, where radar coverage was weakest and response time would be slowest, the pilot made his move. Without warning, the MiG-29 banked sharply off course. Ground control reacted instantly. Calls flooded the radio. Correct your heading immediately. You are off course. But there was no response. The pilot had already committed. He pushed the throttle forward, full power. The jet surged ahead, cutting through the sky at incredible speed. Now, alarms were ringing across East German command centers. This was no longer a mistake. This was defection. Orders were debated in seconds that felt like hours. Should they scramble interceptors? Should they shoot him down before he reached the border? The risk was enormous. Losing a MiG-29 to the West would be a major intelligence disaster. But shooting down one of their own pilots would send shockwaves through the military. Time was running out. Inside the cockpit, the pilot focused on one thing: survival. His heart pounded as he approached the border. He knew that if enemy fighters locked onto him, he would have seconds to react. If his own side decided to fire, there would be no escape. The border between East and West Germany wasn't just a line, it was one of the most heavily guarded boundaries in the world. And he was heading straight for it. As the MiG-29 crossed into Western airspace, NATO radar systems immediately detected the intrusion. An unidentified Soviet-built fighter entering at high speed triggered instant response. Fighter jets were scrambled, pilots prepared for interception, weapons systems were armed. This could be an attack. Moments later, NATO aircraft closed in on the MiG-29. They expected aggressive maneuvers, a dogfight, something. But what they saw instead confused them. The MiG-29 slowed down. It dropped altitude, and then, something unexpected happened. The pilot lowered his landing gear. This was a universal signal. He wasn't here to fight. He was surrendering. Tension filled the airwaves. NATO pilots cautiously approached, ready for anything. But the MiG-29 remained stable. No weapons lock, no sudden movements, just a silent message: I choose to defect. Air traffic control quickly coordinated an emergency landing. The pilot followed instructions carefully. Every second felt like a lifetime. One wrong move, one misunderstanding, and missiles could be launched. But the moment came. The MiG-29 touched down safely on a western runway. The defection was complete. Within minutes, the pilot was surrounded, not by enemies, but by intelligence officers. He was taken into custody, questioned, and debriefed. But he wasn't treated as a prisoner. He was a valuable asset, a man who had just delivered one of the Soviet Union's most advanced fighter jets into NATO hands. The aircraft itself became a goldmine. Western engineers and analysts examined every detail: its radar systems, weapons integration, maneuverability, cockpit design. For years, NATO had tried to understand the MiG-29. Now, they had one sitting right in front of them. The impact was massive. This single act provided insights that could influence future air combat strategies. It helped NATO pilots better understand how to fight and defeat the MiG-29 in real combat scenarios. Back in East Germany, the reaction was shock and anger. How could this happen? How could a trusted pilot escape with such a critical asset? Investigations were launched. Security tightened. Trust within the ranks was shaken. The system that relied on absolute control had just been exposed. For the pilot, the cost was deeply personal. He could never return home. His identity in the East was gone, replaced by the label of traitor. His family, if still there, would likely face consequences. He had traded everything, his past, his homeland, for a chance at freedom. But he had succeeded, and in doing so, he became more than just a defector. He became a symbol of what happens when a human being chooses freedom over fear. When courage overcomes control, when one decision changes everything. The Cold War would eventually come to an end. The Berlin Wall would fall. Germany would reunite. But stories like this remain, powerful reminders of a time when the world stood divided, and even the sky was a battlefield. The MiG-29 still flies today in various air forces around the world. A machine built for war, for dominance, for speed. But in this story, it became something else. A vehicle of escape, a tool of defiance, a symbol of freedom at Mach speed. Because sometimes, the most dangerous mission isn't the one you're assigned. It's the one you choose. And this was one of the boldest choices ever made in the skies of the Cold War.